got IBS and want to know what you can eat. It's probably the very first question for those who receive a diagnosis of irritable bowel syndrome, or IBS. What can I eat? There's no simple answer, but stay with me. I promise to make it easy. I know Fred around the corner has it, and he swears by tofu and Greek yogurt, not together. Mary from an online group swears by a diet of fish. You may have heard of a FODMAP diet. FODMAP stands for fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyol. Try and say that after a few drinks. The truth is, everyone has a unique experience with IBS, so there is no one definitive IBS diet. One meal plan works for one person but might not work for another. There is no one diet guaranteed to treat IBS, but there are guidelines that can help you figure out what will work best for you. We'll focus on some options here, so hang in there. For those researching IBS on behalf of someone else, IBS is a functional gastrointestinal condition defined by abdominal pain, bloating, constipation, and/or diarrhea. Most people with IBS find that they can't just eat whatever they wish, because certain foods can make them ill. Before making any changes to your diet, begin by thinking about how and when you eat. Are you a grazer? Do you grab food on the go, a snack here and there? Or do you have a set time, sit down for a proper meal and take your time? Bad eating habits can be especially detrimental to IBS patients. Forming good habits include sitting down at the table for each meal, keeping portions moderate or small, eating at regular intervals, chewing well, and eating slowly is an excellent foundation. You can increase your digestive symptoms by eating large meals sporadically, as well as eating while stressed, anxious, angry, or distracted. Food preparation is important too. Always listen to your gut, not literally. For instance, if you find that eating, say, a salad, and it is giving you intense abdominal pain and bloating, think about an alternative, such as steaming some vegetables until they are soft. Remember, cooked food is often easier to digest. We need fat as a vital nutrient, but only in moderation. Large amounts of it can upset our digestive tract. Focus on eating friendly fat from food sources such as sardines, tuna, mackerel, fish in general. Nuts are good, just a handful, and avocado. Instead of frying, deploy lower-fat cooking methods, such as baking, roasting, steaming, boiling, and sauteing. Protein is important for gut health and overall health. Choose a protein option that is easy to digest, such as eggs, chicken, tofu, and lactose-free Greek yogurt, rather than beans, lentils, or steak. Here's a tricky one. Dietary fiber. It is a key ingredient for a healthy gut. However, fiber can be an iffy subject for IBS patients. On one hand, fiber can help regulate digestive health, feed good bacteria in the gut, and, depending on the type of fiber, it can reduce constipation or diarrhea. However, on the other hand, fiber can irritate a sensitive gut and lead to pain and bloating, especially with a large intake. Don't jump from a low-fiber diet to a high-in-fiber diet overnight. The results may be very painful digestive symptoms. By all means, increase your fiber intake, but you need to make small and gradual changes. A good way is to increase your daily intake by a few grams. Then maintain the new level for a week or two before adding more. But, and this is important, increase your fluid intake. Even if you are not eating a lot of fiber, you still need to ensure you are drinking plenty of water. Frequent diarrhea can lead to dehydration, so it is important to drink plenty of fluids whenever water can help when you are suffering from constipation. Because liquids help soften stools. You don't need to restrict yourself to water. You can also stay hydrated by drinking herbal tea, broth, juice, milk, and most non-alcoholic liquids. Let's talk probiotics. Fermented foods such as yogurt, kombucha, kimchi, and kefir widely available and often promoted as beneficial for gut health. While incorporating these foods into your diet is generally safe and may offer some advantages, their actual probiotic content can vary significantly. Factors like processing, storage, and brand differences mean you often don't know exactly which strains or how many live organisms you're consuming. Since these can be quite expensive options, try and test one or two. Perhaps a 1-month trial can help you work out if this approach is working for you. We've explored several ways to improve your diet and manage IBS symptoms, but now it's time to address the most challenging step: identifying and eliminating trigger foods. While IBS triggers differ from person to person, certain foods are more likely than others to provoke symptoms. For many, the first step is to rule out significant food intolerances or allergies, as these can significantly contribute to lactose intolerance, for example, is very common in the general population, and its symptoms, bloating, gas, diarrhea, can be especially pronounced in people with IBS. Gluten sensitivity is another possibility, though it's less common than many assume. If dairy and bread don't cause you any issues, there's no need to avoid them. Restricting foods unnecessarily can limit your nutrition and isn't recommended without evidence of a true trigger. That said, some foods are frequent culprits due to their high content of fermentable carbohydrates known as FODMAPs. These include cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts, legumes such as beans, lentils, and chickpeas. These can produce gas and bloating, which may be more intense in those with IBS. So it's often helpful to limit portions or reduce intake initially. Fruits also contain natural sugars, like fructose, that can irritate the gut. To minimize symptoms, stick to 1 serving of fruit per meal or snack, and wait a few hours before having another. Additionally, sugar alcohols such as sorbitol, mannitol, xylitol, and erythritol, commonly found in sugar-free gums, candies, and processed foods, can cause significant bloating, gas, and even diarrhea in sensitive individuals. You may have noticed a pattern. Most IBS-triggering foods are carbohydrates, specifically those that are poorly absorbed in the small intestine and rapidly fermented in the gut. Identifying which ones affect you personally through careful observation or guided elimination is key to finding lasting relief. Sometimes, the most effective way to uncover your food intolerances is by a process of elimination diet, ideally guided by a specialist dietitian. This approach involves temporarily removing common trigger foods from your diet and then carefully reintroducing them one at a time to see how your body responds. In summary, any food that is giving you intense abdominal pain and bloating, think about an alternative. For example, if salad is triggering IBS, steam some vegetables until they are soft. Remember, cooked food is often easier to digest. Fat is your friend, but only in moderation. Large amounts of it can upset your digestive tract. Focus on eating friendly fat from food such as sardines, tuna, mackerel, etc. Nuts are good, just a handful, and avocado is good. Instead of frying, deploy lower-fat cooking methods such as baking, roasting, steaming, boiling, and sorting. Protein is important for gut health and overall health. Choose a protein option that is easy to digest, such as eggs, chicken, tofu, and lactose-free Greek yogurt, rather than beans, lentils, or steak. Dietary fiber is a key ingredient for a healthy gut. However, fiber can be an iffy subject for IBS patients. On one hand, fiber can help regulate digestive health, feed good bacteria in the gut, and, depending on the type of fiber, it can reduce constipation or diarrhea. Remember, fiber can irritate a sensitive gut and lead to pain and bloating, especially with a large intake. I hope you have gained something from this video. Please comment below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.